every parent of young children has experienced a temper tantrum or 20. Well, a new study has found that iPad and tablet use by toddlers can lead to more frequent expressions of anger and frustration as they grow older, which then makes parents more likely to give them screen time.
The 3-year-old study found that higher tablet use at 3.5 years was linked to increased anger at 4.5 years, as well as being linked to emotional dysregulation. Adolescent psychologist Deirdre Brander joins us now from Melbourne. Thanks, Deirdre, for joining us. So what do you make of these findings?
I think that every parent, as you said, can relate to the vicious cycle of a child acting out, having a tantrum, pacified by the iPad, and then when we take the iPad off, the cycle continues. So I'm pleased to see this research has been done because I think it makes us really aware of what's been an easy fix for managing big emotions and what as parents we need to be doing.
Because I guess as a parent, even with young children, you think, well, this is educational, or I'm in the room with them, I'm supervising, and that should be okay.
And absolutely. And there are lots of fantastic educational opportunities for children on an iPad. But the problem is it's what they're missing out on. So when they're extending all that time on an iPad, they're not doing things like playing, learning to entertain themselves, and also interacting with other caregivers, parents and other children. So they're missing out on a really important skill that we need little ones to learn.
So why the frustration? Why the anger? What's leading to that?
It's really normal for children to learn to have big emotions, and that's a response. It's I'm doing something I like and then it goes wrong, and not having the skills about how to deal with that problem. So we have to have that time, particularly in preschool, where they're playing, where they're not on a screen, so they can learn it's okay to be frustrated. It's what we do with our frustration and having skills and learning to be redirected to manage that.
So when you say they're missing out on time with their parents, a lot of parents are saying, look, I only give them an hour a day. What is the problem with that? What advice do you give to parents?
It's really interesting to think about their screen time versus our screen time. So my number one recommendation for every parent out there is put your own phone down, because we have very busy lives and inadvertently we might find ourselves on our screen or our phone or our computer longer than we should. So even if your child is on a screen only an hour a day, as parents, we are often missing out on valuable time to be interacting with our children, playing with them and teaching them those skills to manage those big behaviours.
Deirdre, what about out and about? Giving your kid the iPad at a restaurant or the phone? What do you think of that?
I, as a psychologist, am very concerned about the opportunities that children are missing out on because they've got a screen in front of them all the time. And I see it at sporting events. So people say, I'm taking my child to the football, and we get to the football and they're sitting there on an iPad. So they're missing out on the opportunity to engage with what's happening around them. And that's how children learn, by watching the world and us modelling that. But in saying that, super practical, there are absolutely times that we need to factor in something that's going to occupy our child for short spaces in time, not the entire dinner or the entire sporting event.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's hard, isn't it? Because we grew up with our parents saying, go outside and play, and they didn't care if we were bored. That was part of it. They sort of loved us being bored, didn't they?
I remember sitting at, like, you'd go to mass or something like that, and you'd be in a church and you'd look up to the ceiling and think, oh, how did they build that? Or where did that lead light come from? Or that's amazing. So the curiosity drops, right?
Yeah.
Deirdre, really interesting. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.